I wanted to take the time to make another Harley B video here. It's called my Winter Boredom Special. I'm putting the finishing touches on this bike. I might have to replace the back wheel. I don't know yet. Everything else is true. I got a new chain. I was going to replace the derailleurs. The derailleurs work fine. It was mostly in the cables. All the cables have been replaced. The brakes have been centered. New brake pads, all adjusted. That's all these parts you see hanging in all this collage of shit. There's parts. I was going to replace the shifters as well. I can save these for another bike. This was a cheap set. Comes with the set screws. It's only a couple of bucks. About $15–20 around this area. Everything goes up after I buy parts and I buy these guys out. Sometimes I buy what they have. They really like, they're a merchant like me. They only have one or two or three of something. And the next time I go to buy it, it's more. So Uncle Dutch doesn't like to lie to people, but that's what's going on. And the bottom fell out of the stock market today. Today, I believe, is January 4th. That is my issue. I have a winter boredom special here. I just wanted to show you a few items. Mr. Speed is all back together. I'm still under the weather after my household industrial accident. It took a lot out of me. I felt a little bit better. I'm still going to the doctors. I'm not exactly perfect. As you can see, we replaced the hardware. Carburetor's back on. I really gag guys with this bike, especially these couple of these guys in the area. There's two Spanish guys. This bike has really roasted and toasted them. They had their motors all decked out and pretty colored carburetors, but they're nothing like our engines. I've smoked these guys religiously, and the kids I was riding with that knocked the bicycle over. This is our winter boredom. First thing I want to remind you of is shop safety. As you can see, I have welders and I also have gas cans. I have a lot of stuff I move out of my shop or I take it to a different room here in the shop or a different part of the building. And my house is attached to it, so I watch what I do here, especially if I do it inside. Most of this stuff like welding I'll do outside. But anything that produces a spark like a grinder or anything, use your head, people. Move your gas cans, whatever other industrial flammable liquids. Most of the flammable liquid stuff I have up on shelves, I have it away from fire and flames and a lot of heat. Even though I do have a wood burner here, I just brought in firewood, and as us contractors would say, I was out and about today. We have an old expression that this kind of weather could put nipples on a sheet of plywood. I'm telling you, it's that cold. It went from the 40s down to almost 15 below with a little bit of a wind chill factor. I don't know what it is out there, but it's goddamn cold. I bought this REESE hitch, and as you can see the design, it has a bushing to fit in the receiver. This nearly took my toes off a couple minutes ago. It fell off of here. That's what a receiver, what a hitch looks like. This bushing is supposed to take up that. People, if you buy one of these racks, folks, for a motorized bicycle, they're in no way, shape, form, or adequate. It's still turning colors. I just brought it in off the truck. I transported a bike back, the green bike, back to my friend out in Bloomsburg. It was not adequate. It was hopping around. I don't know if they're hiring Happy the Clown for engineers, these Chinamen or whatever, but I wouldn't take a regular bicycle on that thing the way it was goddamn jumping around on the truck and everything. I'm going to weld it up, weld it all solid, and then I'll store it out in the barn. This is the stock that we're going to use. It's I believe that's an 1 7/8, either 1 7/8 or 2 1/8 inch. Forget what the stock is that goes inside the hitch receiver. But most guys, if you go to an industrial supply like I go to, I got that piece for $9. It's not a big investment. A roll for the MIG welder costs about 47 bucks. But that'll get the job done. Winter boredom. I took my stuff here. I've had a religious pissing contest with this township since I live here in Pennsylvania. I don't use their trash service. I take my stuff, since I make a lot of commercial garbage and heavy stuff. I'm not into picking my shit up all over the road after the animals scatter it all over out front like they do, especially since I have a cat. It seems like my cans and my trash are like a magnet for the wildlife here. So I made myself a containment unit, a dumpster. that I got from the company, and stuff that he picks up in the dumpster, other stuff I transport. The other day I took stuff from a job I did down there, and I found this wheelbarrow. They cost about $69, $75 for those. It had a bad axle, and the wheel was a piece of shit, garbage, Chinese. I made myself an axle. I use all billet stock. That's not that cheap stuff. I don't know. I don't know what the other day is. I went down to Home Depot. They had this, and it was so cold out. There was a big fat woman. I don't know if it was a big fat woman in a white fur coat or if it was a polar bear buying that kerosene heater. But like I said, when the temperature dropped, I just got done with cutting that and putting that back together. And these wheels that you can get at the depot, they have a bearing in them, a roller bearing, a bushing, and they also have a grease fitting, which is nice. That's real nice. There it is. You can probably see that grease fitting. That is a nice design. We have a little PK motor here. This is one of the first 66 49 cc's. I'm going to pick that up again after I show you guys something. I don't know where the light is better here in the shop. I should turn this other light on if I can even reach it. I got so much junk. These center fired heads, pollution head, much smaller diameter. We put the bigger piston in. I make these. These are real cheapo. I just make these for repair jobs for people like this other woman. It was a friend of the woman that had that bike. Her husband had built her one. These are a high compression head. They're also an angle port head, which I tend to angle. I tend to face the spark plug towards where the fuel comes in. Other guys sometimes will take it and put it towards the exhaust port. To tell you something, people, I found out on some engines it works better one way, on other engines it works the other. Really don't know what it is. But we're going to change the crank. That's been on the shelf for a while, that one. We're going to put a heavier crank, one of my cranks in it. And we're going to do this engine. Mark your piston facing forward. We're going to port match this. I'm going to put one of my new jugs on it, one of my custom jugs, and one of my custom pistons. As I explained to people, I don't even remember if it was in the video, the last one or whatever, I was going to replace the shifters on this bike. It's all decked out. It's all ready to go. I'm going to start with the fuel tank, and I wanted to show you something here after I put the camera down for a minute. I buy a lot of stock, pedals, cables, brakes, tools for bicycles. I said this began as a hobby, and it became a goddamn quest. Especially if I don't want to monkey around the whole night and I want to do something more like a professional. I've invested in, the tools here at my shop. People are calling me from my videos, just a few that are out there. I was really impressed. I got calls from Scotland. I got a call from a guy in South California. He seemed like a bit of a hermit. I don't know, a little bit slow. But he was having an anomaly with the carburetor on the bike, and I just told him a new carburetor. I have brand new carburetors. I think I've showed you the last time. I've got a whole box full of those NT carbs and some of the SHA, the cheaper ones. You don't know what you're getting. His problem, it was solved. He went out. There was actually a store there where they could buy motorized bicycle parts. It was right there. I diagnosed his bike over the telephone for the gentleman. So, in saying that, this engine has this serial number here. That's the sign of one of those pollution numbers with the, that's a pollution engine with that pollution head. And the pistons are not the taller pistons, they're the shorter piston. We're going to change all that around. What I did want to show people with my winter boredom video here, I'm getting that thing really needs to be cleaned up. That's going to go in the dip tank and get cleaned. What I did want to show people, when you fit an engine to the bike, this is really hard to see. I might put the kickstand down, but I'm going to show you folks something. I can get these engines to fit real nice. What I wanted to show you on these engines is right there. See that big gap? I'm going to machine that out on that on the new motor, not on this engine. This is, like I said, it belongs to a customer. The new engine is going to fit exactly like that. I'm going to build an entire saddle mount. I did have my block of wood here. I guess I can use this box. On the new engine, you can move these bolt holes up, down. You can fill them in either with weld or you can tap them out, make them larger. I'm going to move these bolt holes out on the new engine. I'm going to fill them in with weld. I'm going to take them down to Jimmy. He has a real nice TIG. My TIG, I can't get the depth. For some reason, it contacts. Jimmy's welder can go all the way down inside that screw hole. So that way, I can move my screw holes out to straddle this wider extruded frame. The better your engine fits on the bike, the better it's going to perform. When your engine is loose on the rear post, it's not quite seated right, take that back mount, machine it out. This can be a real pain in the ass trying to get this on, especially after the hardware has been stressed. I tend to drill mine out a little bit, almost 5/16, sometimes even larger. 9/32, 5/16. In the winter, there's always stuff to do because in the summer, you don't want to be doing the things that you could have done in the winter when you could be out enjoying your day or your bike. As I said, we're going to have a Harley bee first. We're going to be running a bid on this bike, okay? This bike right here, you're going to be able to bid on this one. I don't know how old this bike is. It must have sat. I mean, this is like early 90s because the new bikes I've seen like this aren't anything. They're not built near as well as this bike. This is a nice heavy bike, probably the reason why it sat in like new condition. These are the original tires. They're not new tires. Somebody never rode this bike. It doesn't really even have any rust on it. But one thing I can say about a bike like this, that might be a heavy boat anchor to you folks for a bicycle. But if you put an engine on these bikes, the heavier the bike, the nicer the ride you get and the less vibration you get. As people are finding out about them bikes at Walmart, the metals are so many thousandths thinner, even the handlebars. I get the handlebars off these bikes. I get them off these old ones. There's a couple ounces difference, and I'm talking ounces. I didn't say ounce or a cup, ounces to some of the parts. The Chinese are finding out how to make things thinner and thinner. And you go running power like that and vibration like that through one of those thin bikes. It's no wonder these guys are telling me that you know, when they're souping up engines and buying them from me and Fred, that they're blowing the bikes apart. It's why I work with these vintage bikes. I'm not out to rip anybody off. I put new parts on the bikes, new brakes when you get them. Even if you order it from cross country, it's still going to be the best product I can give you. Have I overlooked things, or had I overlooked things? Sure, I'm only human. Something seems fine at the moment, then it gets rode and it's not. But I usually go over all the brakes, the shifters, everything works on these older bikes. It's just that they're going to take the pounding of an engine like I build. That is one hell of an engine on that bike. That gold bike I have, that's another one. The power those bikes put out is phenomenal. So you don't want to spend your summer after you put your bike together in the winter because you don't want to take it to a bike shop and spend $50, $100 on a bike tune-up. And that's what a bike tune-up, that's what Larry charges, between $50 and $100. Depends on the parts. It could go higher. Take your bike, okay, you have all winter long. Here the riding season won't start till the end of March, beginning of April, at least for my old bones. Like I said, my injuries have caught up to me, my smoking and all the other things that happened to me. I'm not in the mood unless the weather's nice and warm or whatever. Then I take my bikes out and I go for my rides, provided there's nothing else to do or income to make. Like I said, disabled people, we're a funny bunch because I might do one thing for one guy and I won't do it for another, and they wonder why, or they think I'm being weird. I think about how I'm going to do something. I'm very methodical. So I'm kind of hard to figure out that way. But one thing is, with my bikes, you don't have to worry. In the winter, if something's not right, you got all night long, all the next day. Like when I'm sick, I called, I have something to do, and I told the people I'm not going to be able to do it till I'm feeling well enough. This is my therapy. I might feel better. I might not. I might stress myself. I might feel worse if you know what I mean? But sometimes it's therapy. It's not so much psychological. It's not that people are crazy. Your body kind of regenerates when you're relaxing, doing something you enjoy versus going out and going to a job or something and pushing yourself when you know you're not well enough to do it. So in saying that, that's why dealing sometimes with people with disabilities, it's weird business. I'm all dirty. I want to get a shower. It's actually the end of my night. And if I still feel like doing something, I'll come back out here and turn the lights on. I was supposed to go for a haircut and I didn't feel well enough. And yesterday was, everything was closed. I still forgot with the holiday, except for Walmart, and the place was jammed. And then today's Monday, I believe, and everything's closed. The hairdressers or haircut places on a Monday, unless you want to go downtown and take the chance of getting shot at. Well, yeah, we've had quite a bit of shootings and crime here in the downtown area. Not so much up here. It's nice up here, pretty quiet, but you're taking your life in your hands sometimes if you're going center cities anymore. I tend to stay on the outskirts, places I know that are have a lot of security cameras. I don't know. I'm learning to live different than getting shot at. My buddy's truck just he brought it down here. He wants me to help him put a window in it. I'm got to take the whole door, the back door part on the truck. It's going to be a mess in this weather. You can't afford to take it. You can't afford to take it to a shop. They wanted $300 to put a window. I don't know what's so special about this Ford pickup truck. Something with they got to take the you got to take the motor out and the motor housing, and I don't know what's. I'm gonna actually try to use YouTube. As I stated, in between my gagging attack, YouTube is one of the most useful tools that's ever been invented, especially when you want to learn about something that somebody else does. You're going to see this engine all back together looking like it's brand new again. And you're going to see the brand new engine that I'm going to put on that out of the box. I got to get the pieces and stuff. Some of the cranks and stuff they make down the shop, Matt will actually send it to me. I order something in, if I ordered something in June, I could get it in August or whatever. He's just learned to drop it in the mail. It's right down the street. It costs a couple of bucks. He just puts it on my bill. But sometimes the shit ends up getting nailed to me, and I'm wondering where the hell it is, and it's sitting down at my post office waiting for me. I'm not the most together guy yet. If this business turns into a larger scale than it is, maybe I can do things differently. But that's crank has actually been waiting for me, and I didn't really have an engine to put it in, so I never picked it up until the other day. Now I have an engine project. Like I said, one person sees my work, and somebody else wants a little something, which is good advertisement. You people in Florida, I have a hot shot service that will deliver my bikes, or if you want your bike motorized with a Harley B, you can ship it up here to me. Now I have a guy, Recreational Services, he's on uship.com. Seems like a very competent gentleman. Chris Gow is his name. He told me I could use his name for advertisement. It's not a full-time gig, it's a winter gig. That's the other thing is, if you want that bike built, it's the winter, send it up here now. I would appreciate it too for something to do. But as I explained, people throw brand new stuff out that's still useful, but somebody doesn't know how to put a wheel on it. It's not that difficult. If not, my sign's out there. We work on tractors, I said. We'll work on your chainsaw. I do all kinds of things for a little bit of, food money or whatever. I got a bill to pay. Doctors send me bills faster than I can pay them. Don't make yourself more aggravation than something's worth. You can buy these little Shimano parts, or I can put it on your bike if you live locally or you want a bike built here. It'll be like brand new. I had a guy saw this bike here at my shop. He has one at his house exactly like this, in just about as nice a condition. And allegedly in the spring, he's going to bring that over to put a motor on it. He says, wow, I have that exact bike. Well, I don't know how old this bike is, but it's made much better than some of the other bikes. So I took the time to get all the shifters working, all the cables, everything works, brakes. I centered up the brakes. I trued the wheels. We may have an issue with this bike with the wheels. Like I said, we're going to have a bid. I'm going to ask you guys on YouTube to see this. If you want to call me with a bid, send a bid in. I'm going to try to sell tickets to this. I'm going to have it printed up. So if you want a ticket or something and you want to call me, I'm going to charge $20 a ticket. I was going to charge $25. That's an odd figure. Not everybody has $25. So what I did the math is, I'm only going to sell, get this, I'm only going to sell 65 tickets. I'm actually going to be $200 below cost on me constructing that bike. But when those 65 tickets are sold, I'm going to have a big jar here, and everybody's name's going to be in it. That's an old pickling crock. I found that here. These houses were abandoned for years when I moved in here. That was actually laying in my basement. And that's where all 65 names are going to be. They're going to be kept in there. Nobody comes in this shop but me and 2 other people. I said I live like that, personal security, there's cameras. So if I have to count all 65 tickets that are going to be in there, I'm going to crumble them because of arthritis and picking them up. So I'm going to pick them blind out of there, and you guys can win this bike. $200 below the cost of what it's going to make me. For a $20 bill, it's worth you guys to buy a ticket. Call me, and when they're printed up here down at Dawn's Graphics or whatever, I will mail you the ticket in the mail. You return the stub to me in the mail, and that's that. Or you can make your own up on the internet. What I'll do is I'll make your ticket up for you, and I'll show some people I'll lay most of them out here on the workbench when it's clean. I intend on cleaning this up in the next week. Like I said, I have some work to take on, but I'm not well enough to do it. So when I get a chance to clean things and clean them up, this gets to be a mountain of shit with these bicycle tools and my construction tools. And I still have a roof to put on here on the back of the house and this other property on the other side to work on. I got a bunch of shit to eat and no time sometimes, but this is a good therapeutic hobby, especially when I don't feel good. Like I said, I might decide after I take a shower, fuck it, I'm just going to go up to bed, or I might come back in here and turn the lights on and go to town. Like I said, it's a funny thing when your health is going in and out and you get sick or you got hurt like I did. Learn to quit this, my only bad habit. I like people as a person. I mean, I learned a lot off of other individuals, especially about these bikes, before I went in my own endeavors. I suggest you do the same. Don't just endeavor to endeavor. Endeavor to learn, endear to and learn. It's an enrichment. If you don't have the dexterity, there's certain things I just, health-wise, or I got a phobia about something, I won't touch it. And that's what guys like me are for. We're for the guys with the phobias. If I get something brand new, and I've had many things that I could tell you about, pieces of equipment. If it's brand new, and I know it's going to be expensive if I make a boo-boo, and I can't find the information in the manual or on YouTube, folks, this is what professionals are for, and it's why you pay a professional. Why would you invest in all those brand new parts and try to monkey and half-ass it together with a couple of sockets, an adjustable wrench, and a screwdriver when there's a shop that can put the stuff together for you? This is what guys like me are for. There's been many a times there was a snow blower I bought. I could never afford a piece of equipment like that. A friend gave it to me. His wife gave it. He was deceased, and she says, well, what the hell am I going to do with it? I'm going to hire somebody. Maybe you can use it. Well, You know, before I take a 16 to 2500, I don't know what they cost new. They weren't even in the book anymore, but it was in brand new with the book with it. She said he used it once and never used it again. Well, I'm not going to booger something when I don't know about it. I'll go to the shop and a lot of times I'll stand there and watch the guy work on something, and I'll learn about it, learn how it comes apart, learn what tools take it apart. This is part of our winter boredom video. If you have something to fix, when you need it, it's not the time to go have it fixed, because the guy may not be able to fix it right away. And then you don't have it, or you got to go out and buy a new one and give the Chinese even more money to buy it, make even more missiles and bombs. People, use your head. The winter is a dead time. You get the blahs. You don't feel like doing anything. Uncle Dutch does too. But sometimes it just pays to move your ass, because when the time comes and you need that item, or you want that bike to be able to ride it, or you need that wheelbarrow, or you know this thing wasn't adequate, you just stick it in the closet and you buy another one or something, have some value of your money. $9 at the industrial supply. There's a fabricator down the road here. He's warmed up. He's gotten kind of friendly with me over the last couple of years, simply because I'm in the media, and he didn't know I was the same guy that rode the race car at one time, and he learned a little bit about me. People, $9 is going to solve my problem, and it's going to get Happy the Clown in China out of my life with that clown-ass bushing on there. So that's what I have to tell you. That's the Harley B Winter Boredom video. As I said, self-made men, good men don't stand by and let bad things happen to them. They try to do things about them, just like the guy that was pestering me, thinking they know about me or whatever. Whatever's on the internet there is not Uncle Dutch, and a lot of those people, I don't even know who the hell they are. They have associated with me. And that's why anybody knows my nickname. Most people that call me by my first name, they're second generation or third generation friends. They're not the people I grew up with. Where I got my handle is, I'm from the Pennsylvania Dutch country, and when you're military, they call you where you come from. Sometimes it was Dutch boy. I didn't like that. I stepped on a couple of fingers, toes, and cocks. I like to be respected as a man. I made rank early in life, and I still keep that rank. And I still like to make people aware of things. YouTube is a useful tool, folks. Use it for its best of its advantages, and I'm going to bid you farewell with that. When you need it, it's not the time to fix it. When you're bored and it's winter and the snowflakes are it's 0 degrees, that's the time to fix stuff. It's the time to make it right. It's the time to measure it all out, mark it all out, cut your steel, do it. And remember, if you have fuel cans or anything flammable in your shop, okay, now is the time to move those items, not after you start welding and you got a fire 6 foot high in the shop and got to call the fire company. Up here in Hillbilly Heaven where I live, by the time the fire company gets here, I'll either be a roasted hot dog or the house will burn down. I'm out here kind of on the edge of humanity. I'm about a mile out of the city, and the city usually doesn't respond up here to the calls because they got enough to do down there. So with that, in the boredom video, there's always something to fix. There's always something to do in the winter. Don't be bored. Don't get in your old lady's hair. Don't get in your mom or dad's hair. Go fix something. Spend a couple dollars at the hardware store and learn how to do something with yourselves. And that's the winter boredom video, guys. Have at it. Go get your tools out. Use your head. Think how you want to do it, and go to it. Tomorrow's another day.